guys, it's Betty Sakosha from booptique.wordpress.com. I'm here today to show you another video of a stamp set that I think isn't getting enough love. So let me show you here what I'm talking about. This is currently available until the end of May in the current Stampin' Up! Occasions catalog. It looks like this. And it's on page 35, and it's a stamp set called In the Trees. It's a fantastic stamp set. It is $16. And let me show you why you're going to need this. Here are some samples of some cards that I've made previously with it. A bunch of pennants and a squirrel. Who doesn't need pennants and a squirrel? This one here is a congratulations kind of party light card. It's hard to see, but there's, you know, all the lights are a little glowy, and they actually have Wink Stella on them. They're fantastic. Someone in one of my clubs thought this was an eyeball. It's not an eyeball. It's glowing lights. Okay, then there was a demonstrator that I saw online, and I will post it as soon as I can remember her name. She was fantastic, from Australia, who did this beautiful watercolor that I kind of followed along, and this is what I came up with. She gives great direction, so I'll try and link you to her so you can also find her video. But we're doing something similar to this today, just not with watercolor paper. This is another one with a squirrel because, again, who doesn't need squirrels? And then this is the card that we're doing today. All right, so let me get started on this card, showing you what you need. This is a half a sheet of Soft Sky cardstock, soon to be retired. A 4 by 5 1/4 sheet of Early Espresso, and then 2 Whisper Whites that are 3 3/4 by 5 inch papers. Okay, let me pull that one in, the one we need to work with now. So first thing we're going to start with is the tree, and the way we're going to ink this up is actually with our marker. So we're using the side of the marker. This marker's in pretty good shape for a marker, but if you use the side of the marker, you save the tip. Okay, so you're just going to kind of color in around the whole top of the tray, the side of the marker. This is, I'm using Old Olive for this. And then I'm going to pull in an Early Espresso marker, soon to be retired. I don't know if you can see the tip on that, but that is not pretty. You really can't see. But let me tell you, someone mushed it. Wasn't me. Not naming names. They didn't know better. I'm sure they wouldn't have done it if they knew better. Anyway, doing a technique called thumping, and literally you're just banging your marker against your stamp, and that's going to add a little bit of color to it. And then I'm going to grab an espresso marker, again using the side of the marker, to color in the trunk of my tree and any branches that I can find in the tree. It's much easier to do it this way. It's easier to color over a lighter color, so it's easier to add your brown on top of the green. Okay, so now I'm going to go off camera here and huff. It's exactly what it sounds like. Just kind of breathe on the stamp, and that kind of remoistens everything, brings it back so that everything's the same amount moist. Sorry if you don't like that word. Anyway, pushing this down, just giving it a little bit longer to transfer the ink to the paper. That you need to do that with a photopolymer stamp. And I don't know if you can see this, but there's a lot of different color green going on here with that technique that I showed you. So now I'm going to take, before it's really dry, I'm going to take a blender pen and just kind of mush around, bringing all these colors together, the two different greens together, so it kind of has a little bit, you know, kind of brings it more to life, if you will. Not cartoony like, although frankly I don't know that it looked like a cartoon to begin with. Okay, but you can see that I've kind of mushed all that color together. Then I'm going to take my watercolor pencils. Haven't used these in a while, so it's time, and I'm going to pull out my espresso pencil and literally scribble There's no one out there that can't do this. If you take a look at that, literally scribbled. Then take your blender pen, just make sure you clean it off so you're not bringing the green from the tree in to the trunk of the tree. And then you're just going to mush the color around in the tree. Done. Okay, now, hammock. So let me tell you about this hammock. Actually, let me grab this stamp set. It's going to be easier to show you. This hammock here actually has a spot that, I don't know what you call this. I'm not up on my hammock stuff, but it goes around the tree, like a thing that holds it onto the tree. So this should not sit right against here. This has to go around the tree on both sides. I don't know why, but a lot of people don't want to do that, and it's really upsetting to me. I don't know why. Okay, so you're going to take your hammock, inking it up in the espresso. I'm going to put it around the tree, so you can see that little spot there. I'm actually going to try something fancy with this card. So I'm going to put it a little bit higher up on the tree, as high as I can get it. Give it a little bit time to set up. Okay, now I'm going to do the other tree. You have to do it in this order, otherwise you can't figure out where to put your other tree. Sort of the problem with hammocks. You don't know how far apart your trees are going to be in life, right? Okay, so again, I just started with the espresso. I'm going to tap some of this, nope, that wasn't espresso. That was old olive, and I'm tapping on some Always Artichoke. And then I'm going to take my espresso and do the trunk of the tree. Trunk and the branches. Whoops. I think I got a little brown branch in there. I mean, brown leaf. It happens. Okay, again, I'm going to huff. And I'm going to stick it right in between that part there. And again, I want this kind of close to the top because I have an idea for this tree. I don't know if it's going to work. Okay, so before this really sets up, I'm going to just come in and mush the green around to give it a little bit more life. Except for that brown leaf. It's already dead. Okay. There we go. Good. Take my watercolor pencil. Adding a little more espresso in there. And just filling in the branches quickly. This really does come together quite quickly. I'm going to do something crazy. Haven't done this before. I'll show you a finished card before. But I have a sister whose family is a little nuts. And they would totally go camping like this. Like this, they are an LL Bean commercial. Okay, now you see where this did not connect over here? I'm just going to bring that right up with my marker. No one's going to know. This would totally be my sister's family. Glad I did this. Okay, so I'm going to make both of these hammocks brown. The reason I'm doing that is that this ink here is espresso, and if you use a blender pen on that ink, it's going to bleed a little bit. I tried previously to make a red hammock. Thought that would be nice. Wasn't so pretty. It kind of bled a little bit, and you just have to take my word for it. It wasn't pretty. Anyway, so if it's going to bleed a little bit, you might as well be working with the same color brown. So, I love this. Okay, you might think it's nuts. This is the original card. You don't have to do a card. If your family's more normal, this is the way to go. Okay, now check out this cool thing. So the lady from Australia that I cannot remember the name of, but I will post it here, had this great tip for doing grass. So what she did was, this is a little grass image, and I'm going to ink it up in my olive and then stamp it about 5 times without re-inking. So it's going to give you this nice kind of sort of naturally looking, well, as natural as this grass can look, but kind of fades out a little bit. Then I'm going to add a little bit, this is the longer grass, the grass that needs to be cut a little more, that you would get kind of around a tree. And I'm going to do the same thing where I'm going to stamp it a few times. Kind of gives it a nice little fadey look. Did I just get ink on there? All right, overlook that. I'll find another way around that. All right, finally I will add a couple of flowers because I can, and I'm going to do the same thing with that. Stamp it a couple of times, because then when I add my flower, I'm going to do this in Sweet Sugar Plum. When I add my flower here, I'm going to move that around a little bit, and it's just going to kind of give it that soft look, so you don't have to do anything else to it. It's almost done. Oh. Okay, so the final thing I want to do to the card is add a little bit of soft sky. It needs sky color. Right now it's just white. So I'm going to add a little bit of sky to it. So I'm going to use my soft sky ink in our foam brayers. These come 2 in a package and are very different than our old brayers. The way that you want to ink it up is not going back and forth like this, because then you're only inking up the bottom of it. You really want to make sure that you ink up everything. So you're going to roll it and pick it up every time. And then when you go to put it on your paper, you're just going to go back and forth, but very lightly. You're going to do this very lightly so that you don't get an ugly line. Okay. I'm thinking if anybody's tuning in now, they're thinking this card is kind of ridiculous with 2 hammocks. Or they're loving it. I don't know. Post a comment and let me know what you think. Okay, so this I think is blue enough. I'm going to compare it with my white. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but you can see when you compare the two that it is actually pretty blue. Okay, so I'm just going to adhere this to my espresso. This is really going to make it pop, you'll see. I love putting light cards with dark cardstock behind it. If ever you need to save a card, you just put black cardstock behind it. It will save that card, I promise you. Okay, and then I'm just going to put this on the soft sky layer. And then finally, I'm going to finish off the card with the words inside, which could be my favorite part of this card. And they say, "We need to hang out more. Love." Okay, so that's it. Thanks for stopping by. Do not overlook this stamp set in the catalog. Let me actually finish the card before I say goodbye to you all. Okay. Don't overlook this. This is a fantastic set, and it is only $16. The number, if you need it, 145850. You can find a link to my website. If you don't have a demonstrator and you need to purchase it, I'd be happy to help you out there. All right, thanks again. I appreciate it. Stop by another time. Bye-bye.